Now, as you're maybe building your brand for the first time, as you're stepping out into the world saying, hey, I need to build myself as a brand, as an influencer, I need to build my company as a brand, or I need to do whatever I need to do that, just know that sometimes you're going to hit obstacles that can knock your brand down. We're going through it now. But I believe that as long as you continue to do the right thing, you continue to take care of each customer one at a time, you continue to stare this thing right down the barrel in the face and fight it and go, hey, enough's enough. We're coming to make sure that you guys are taken care of, make sure that we stand behind our product, make sure we stand behind our install. And you do that one at a time. Eventually, takes time, eventually, the good suppresses the bad. Bam! I'm Jayson Waller here with the True Underdog Podcast, and I've got a solo episode here that I am super excited to talk about. It's one of my favorite things to do, and it's one of my favorite things to overcome because I have struggles in this sometimes too, and it is how to build your brand. And not the first time you build your brand, but what about if your brand struggles and gets blemishes? How do you overcome that? How do you build your brand? And that's something I really want to talk about in today's show. Your brand is the backbone of your company. You are your brand. Everything you represent and that you believe in and that you see and that you feel, that is your brand. That is what you carry. That is what your employees see. That is what your customers see. That is what everybody will see when they think of your company name and or yourself. Maybe you're an individual, you're an influencer, your name, your physicality, your human self is the brand. Then you've always got to be on point. What you look like, how you smile, what you're bringing to the table, promoting yourself. I always say promote yourself so much that people that know you get annoyed. They're like, dude, can you quit posting stuff? Can you stop? Like, this is annoying me. You want to make sure that you are doing everything you've got to do to always think positive and right. And we all make mistakes, right? So many companies are building a brand the wrong way. And because of that, they're missing out on so many potential customers. So whether you're an influencer or you're a small business or you're a big business, brand building is about building credibility, right? You want people to understand what your why is, what your service is, how it's going to benefit them, who you are, where your company is from, where it's going, what its mission is. There's so many things that you've got to add to building the brand that's important. It really starts with the why. What is your mission? Like here at Pink Energy, our mission is to really inspire humanity to have a more sustainable, reliable, cleaner world. Like that's our mission, right? That's what we want to do. And with this podcast, my goal is really to get more folks out there to overcome adversity, overcome struggles, make themselves the underdog to get to the top, right? And that's what the show's about. And we're always building a brand. And sometimes you run into issues where things can happen to the brand, can struggle. A lot of times what I see is people, they really like to build their brand, but they get nervous. They feel weird. Like, okay, what do I do? If I promote this too much, is my mom going to think I'm weird? Is my friend going to think I'm weird? Am I going to annoy people? You have to get that out of your mind. Listen, the more people that see your stuff, the more people that you annoy, the bigger you're building your brand. That's a fact. Because there are people out there and they know who they are. Maybe some are listening. I doubt it. But some might be listening that just look to hate. They look to be angry. They feed off it. You can't change that. And the moment you start going back and forth with them and engaging, they're winning. You don't want to do that. But what you want to do is focus on those that believe in you and your brand and give them a tangible thing to believe in, a theme to believe in, a why to believe in, a purpose to believe in, right? No matter what it is you're doing. You could be selling real estate. You could be promoting some kind of product. You could be running a service-based business. I mean, whatever it is, you want to make sure that the brand out there is always, like I always have a rule for the employees, like you must protect the brand at all costs. Number one is you got to be positive, right? This is what I tell my employees. You got to have positive energy. We don't want none of that negative drama. Number two, integrity. You have to have integrity. Integrity to our consumers, integrity to our brand. And number three is being loyal. Right? Loyal to the brand. So integrity to the brand is like, all right, I'm going to make sure everything that I'm doing for this company or everything that I'm doing for the brand is always in the brand's best interest, not my best interest, not there. It's the brand's best interest, which includes integrity to the customers because that builds the brand. Loyalty to the brand means that you'll put the brand before yourself. Too many times, individuals cover their own butt and put themselves before the brand. A lot of folks that might work for you might do this. I've had to have some major turnover on a high level where we've had folks literally put themselves before the brand, and sit on bombs, not answer questions. Hey, is this being done? Oh, yeah, it's being done. And they don't know because they're scared to answer the wrong answer, or they're not paying attention, or they don't expect what they expect. And all these strugglers are coming through. Like, it's a problem. And I started to align myself recently with folks that get it, that are all in, that are drivers, that aren't sitting around sitting on bombs, hiding from things to cover their own ass. Like, I'm not a big believer in that. Like, you got to own your shit. Let me tell you a story. So we are Power Home Solar, right? And we've won every award under the sun. I mean, every award, like 6 times CEO of the year for myself, our CFO of the year, our customer service of the year multiple times. I mean, you name it, marketing company of the year, Solar World Contractors, Inc. 500 fastest, or 5,000 and in the top 500 growing year over year over year. A plus with the BBB, recently 20, 25, now we're up to 40,000 customers, but 20, 25, 30,000 customers, all excited, loving their stuff, everything going great. That was our brand. It was fantastic. And, I had an idea. I was like, hey, look, if we want to take this company public or go to the next level, we got to come up with a better name than Power Home Solar. Like, it just didn't make sense. And so with Power Home and Solar, it just limited us. We came up with Pink Energy. Came up with it like, mid last year, third quarter of last year in 2021. And we started to put the pieces together to roll it out in spring or early summer in 2022. And then we had some issues with a manufacturer that we use. And when we had this issue, at the same time, there was a major fallout with customers and service complaints and warranty issues and service issues and production issues, mostly, almost all came from this manufacturer part. Like, I preached to everybody, like, we didn't forget how to sell solar. We didn't forget how to install solar. In fact, we're more compliant. We've won all these awards. But literally in a bash of 5 or 6 months, with all of these manufacturer issues and all of these performance issues and everything stacking, it went from being this glorified great brand, and we're transitioning to a new name, to Pink Energy. Oh my gosh, that's Power Home Solar and Pink Energy. Oh, their brand is tarnished now. Like, they're bad. Like, they sell something that people don't want. And they, its stuff doesn't work, and all of these things that stack. And the reason I'm sharing this is what I'm going through now, right? As a CEO, as a person here, there are people out there that think, we have purposely done people wrong, and that is never the case. Like, we got into this business because I believe in solar. We believe in the right thing. And, previously to this manufacturer's issue and using this manufacturer, we had almost 19, 20,000 customers with less than 5% service issues and less than 5% complaints and, A plus with everything, 5 NFL stadiums installed. Like, we were the mecca of solar and battery. Like, we were it. Like, it was Power Home Solar / Pink Energy. They're the top. And literally what happens, sometimes out of your control, is a bad product that maybe should have been a recall, that creates some safety issues, that becomes a problem, that doesn't work, all of a sudden manifests, and you start getting 10 complaints, 20 complaints, 50 complaints, 80 complaints, 100 complaints of the same thing, monstrous stuff coming into it. Like, we went from, I think it was 800 phone calls a month to 30,000 in 4 months because of something that happened, right? Because of this product issue, this manufacturer's issue that we've had to continue to deal with. And, be a good partner, not point fingers and say, hey, you signed up with us, not this manufacturer. We're using their product, and so we'll stand behind it. And we did that, and thinking things were okay. And, more customers were going down. And so if we had 100 complaints, as for an example, where their system didn't work, but they felt like, oh, you sold me something that didn't work, and that wasn't the case, it was because there was a firmware update that would actually shut their system off. So take in mind, you have this part that heats up and does something what it's not supposed to, could maybe catch on fire, right? So this manufacturer then that we were utilizing sends out firmware and doesn't tell the customer. And the reason this is important is then their system is locked. And so now their system can't catch on fire, but their system's not working. So here they are going month 1, month 2, month 3, their system's not producing. They're like, something's wrong. My bill's not changing. They sold me something that doesn't work, blah, 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 blah. And that starts to stack up to where we're getting an abundance of calls, and then they're all in groups together. Oh, that happened to you. This happened to me. And it just starts to stack. And it takes a small pebble problem and becomes a giant snowball problem. So what we're going through. And so I share this because I see light at the end of the tunnel, right? Meaning, you just got to get in front of things. You just got to, got to talk to consumers. You got to tell them what's going on, and sometimes you got to make changes. And the manufacturer made a new part that works, and they came out, and we're replacing each one of those customers, but we're having to share with them, like, look, not all of this is on us. Of course, we have our own growing pains. We make install issues, and I believe in our sales reps. We have every opportunity there to make sure that the sales reps always do the right thing. And I always believe that 99.9% of the time they do. But if you get 100 complaints where their systems aren't working and it's the manufacturer's issue, but then you get 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 or 12 complaints if we installed and screwed something up, put our foot through a ceiling, a leaky roof, whatever it is, or a sales rep promised something that shouldn't, like, you're going to have some of that in business, and that sucks, but you got to make sure you mitigate that and you control that and you work with that. But then all of a sudden this becomes 112 customers with a problem that they seem as similar, and now it's this giant ball staring you and your company and your employees in the face, saying, hey, you're a bad company now, and you're doing this. And I'm here to tell everybody, and like I'm telling this, I'm sharing this, I'm being vulnerable with you guys, saying, like, my company didn't become a bad company overnight. My company's the same company, if not a better company than we were 2 years ago. 4 years ago. We're more compliant, we're more energized, we've got better products, better pricing, like, we're way better. Better installs, like, everything is better. But because of this issue, it creates a problem. Think of a car dealership that sells a Chevy. And if Chevy had an issue on a car, but they didn't do a recall, but it was creating problems, you're going back to that dealership. You're not contacting Chevy. You're like, dude, you sold me this bad thing. And they're like, all right, well, let me, they're trying to figure it out. Well, that's kind of where we're at with some of these, with this product. And so I share this because now, as you're maybe building your brand for the first time, as you're stepping out into the world saying, hey, I need to build myself as a brand, as an influencer, I need to build my company as a brand, or I need to do whatever I need to do that, just know that sometimes you're going to hit obstacles that can knock your brand down. We're going through it now. But I believe that as long as you continue to do the right thing, you continue to take care of each customer one at a time, you continue to stare this thing right down the barrel in the face and fight it and go, hey, enough's enough. We're coming to make sure that you guys are taken care of, make sure that we stand behind our product, make sure we stand behind our install, and you do that one at a time. Eventually, takes time, eventually the good suppresses the bad. Now, you're still going to have some pissed off people out there. You're still going to have people that just love to hate, that want to hate you because you're successful, or want to hate you because you do this, or want to hate you because they feel like they've been had. Rather than try to work something out, they want blood, and they're angry, and they're pirates on the internet and all these other things, right? Don't feed into that. Don't feed into that, because they don't deserve your energy. And you're never going to make everybody happy, even if you sell ice cream and sherbet. You're just not. Here's what my advice is. When you're building a brand, you stand behind what you do. You make it right by every customer that at least wants you to make it right. If they don't, then go to the customers that do. Some customers just don't want to be right. You can't make everybody happy. You just can't. And focus on how to build the brand the right way. Focus on being proactive in your brand, in your business. Focus on, who your competitors are and staying ahead of them. Like, how can I be better than my competitors? You never hate your competitors. You love your competition. You want to learn from your competition, but you want to be better than your competition. You want to bring something to the table that's different than your competitors. You want to market something better than your competitors. That's how this works. And so what is your company's focus? Like, our focus, I mentioned before, is inspire humanity to live a more, sustainable, reliable, greener world. Like, that's our mission. That's our future. That's our focus. Whether that's you go solar, whether you get energy efficiency, whether you go battery and storage, we believe EV is going to take over, which that's electric vehicles. We believe there's not enough energy on our country right now as it is. We need solar. We need wind. We need hydro. We need all of that. That's where we stand. And I'm sharing this because when you're building a brand, no matter how big or small you are, everybody goes through these hurdles. I think of Time Warner went through some stuff and switched to Spectrum. And what's crazy is we switched our name from Power Home Solar to Pink Energy, and not because of this, but this was like the perfect storm. You had this issue of these abundance of calls and service issues because their systems weren't working because of failure from the manufacturer. And then you had, some bad press on top of changing the name. Like, it was the perfect storm. And I've got something to tell you. When we get out of the storm, which we are building out of the storm every single day, we're making every customer happy that we can. We're focusing on one at a time. We're continuing to build this movement. We're continuing to add a customer one at a time. I will tell you, when we get through this, I'm going to write a book about it. I'm going to write a book about it and tell everybody the story of how it goes up and how it goes down and how it goes up, because of the experience that we're going through is you can't buy that experience. Like that is next level. You know, you go to the top of the mountain, you get knocked down, and now you're climbing back up the mountain. And you want to even go higher on the mountain. And that's the goal. And I tell you this because you've got to stay positive. You've got to stay focused on your brand. You have got to stuff your brand down the world's face in a good way. Like we just signed a deal with Susan G. Komen Foundation. You know how excited I am about that? Like that means so much. My grandmother died of breast cancer. Everybody knows somebody who's had breast cancer. Everybody cares about this foundation. This is the largest, best foundation, in my opinion, in our country. And, you know, they've had partners like the NFL and NASCAR. And here we are, Pink Energy, doing something with Susan G. Komen. Why? Because they love our mission. They love what we're about, regardless of the nonsense out there. They're like, look, no, this company is doing the right thing and doing what they're supposed to. And they approached us. And here's the best part. We get to go out there and make a difference, not only by getting solar for folks where they can own their power and have, you know, a way to never be left in the dark and less restricted to keep the, you know, being on the grid and depending on the utility company, but we also get to give back to research and to those families who are affected by breast cancer. Like that's important to me. That's a why. That's a focus, right? That's something that is tangible in our brand and our brands align. And I say this so if you're building something and you find a company or an organization that you can rally with and you guys have the same kind of focus and the same kind of why and the same kind of ideas in your brand, you want to align with them and take the next step and then take the next step and then take the next step. You don't want to just sit down. You want to make sure that you align yourself with smart people, good people, people that inspire the world, people that want to make a difference, people that are changing things. That's what you want to surround your brand with and or yourself with. It's very, very, very important. Some of the keywords surrounding products or brands that I really like: bold, innovative, trendy, healthy, exciting, energized, loved, kindness. Those are the kind of things that you get excited about, the words that you really want to represent your brand, right? And also talking about your brand, you want to make sure that you have an elevator pitch, like a 2 or 3 minute elevator pitch that really explains what it is you do and who you are. Like, hey, Jayson Waller here, CEO of Pink Energy. You know, our goal here is we're residential and business solar and energy efficiency company. Our goal is to allow you to own some of your power, rely less on the utility company, make a difference in this world, have a cleaner planet, and you know, really inspire humanity to have a more sustainable, reliable, cleaner future. You know, this is what we do. We allow them to shift over and do that. Like that's our elevator pitch, right? People are like, oh yeah, that works. Like you got to find something that you can rally around. The podcast, True Underdog Podcast here. We want to make sure that we inspire people, give people hope, give people motivation, and teach people business lessons and life lessons, how to overcome adversity and go from underdog to top dog, right? That's what the podcast is about. You've got to come up with a 40-second, you know, elevator pitch when people ask, what it is you do? What is it you believe in? What's that shirt mean? What's that app mean? You know, what's going on? You want to be able to do that. You want to be able to come up with a line that you kind of memorized and know your business and know your brand. You know, what does your product look like? You know, what I love about our new logos and brand, Pink Energy, is it's so simple. It's just pink energy. It's intriguing. It's inviting. It's kind, right? And we're getting ready to rebrand True Underdog. It'll be True Underdog, but it'll all be pink based, right? Because we're all partnered with Susan G. Komen. And, you know, even True Underdog is going to be out there, you know, promoting things for Susan G. Komen and giving back. And look, you can always visit susangkomen.com and donate, or you can always, hey, let me know, shoot me a DM, do whatever, and I'll get you on my list. And you could donate through that. You could check out the walk here October 8th in Charlotte. But you know, we're super excited about where our brand is going. And what I want you to take from this episode is what tangible items can you do? Like, what tangible items can you do to build your brand and really focus on that? So, let's say you're new to the internet. And I remember when I first started doing Instagram lives, I was taking my phone. I was like, Jayson Waller here, Power Home Solar. You know, time to own your power, not rent your power. And people are like, man, you are crazy. Like, and I'd get like 12 views. And they're like, man, you're nuts. And I do another one, I get like 30 views. And they're like, man, and over time, thousands of views, right? You build a brand and you get better at it. And I go back and I look at some of those first lives. I'm like, oh boy, that was rough. But that's how you get better. You have to not be scared to promote yourself and your business. You have to be all in. How can people follow you? And meaning like work for you and believe in you and your brand if you're not all in, if you don't believe in it enough to stick it out there, even if it bothers people, even if it annoys people. Like, My family, they don't listen to my podcast. They don't read my book because they live with me and I'm annoying. I'm all over the place. Pop, 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 pop. So they're like, dude, yeah, it doesn't hurt my feelings. I mean, look, it is what it is. They get annoyed. But for every time I annoy them 12 times, I might find somebody that it helps. I might find somebody that wants to own their power. I might find somebody that loves the podcast. That's what it's about, right? You keep finding that. I remember when we used to put out flyers for home security systems. I used to tell the flyer crew, if I don't get any bad calls, you're not doing your job. They're like, what? I said, listen, if you put enough flyers up, somebody's going to call me pissed off you're putting flyers at their house. Then I know you're really working. I got to get calls for sales, but then I know you're really working because you're putting it out there and people are feeling harassed a little bit. All right, they put flyers here all the time. This was back in, 05, 06, 07, 08, 09. And it worked. And you want to be able to market and brand like that to where you're going to have some bad because people are just wake up angry at bacon and coffee and orange juice and life and, they're a glass half empty complainer. You're going to have that. And then you're going to have those people that love life and look to make a difference. And that's what you want to surround yourself with. And that's what you want to build your brand with. And that's how you want to stand out from the competition. Look, and I'm a tough I'm a hard ass. I'm a tough dude that I don't take shit. I'm hard on people sometimes. That's just who I am, but it's because I'm passionate in what I believe in. I don't hold grudges. I don't stay angry. But I'm real big on accountability and owning your shit. Like with us, all our problems, it's not just this manufacturer problem. A lot of it is. But, we had growing pains. We grew real fast. We didn't have the staff to handle this. You had some install issues here. You had some sales. We have our own growing pains. You have to own it. But you also have to know to be able to dictate what's mud and what's water. You just got to. As a business owner or building a brand, you got to know that's mud, that's water. I got to know where I got to be. And that's where it stands, right? When the rubber meets the road, you got to know which side of the road you're going to be on and where you're going to go. And there is no wrong decision. There's your decision. You make your decision and you go all in on your decision, just like you should go all in on your brand, okay? The most iconic brands all have a strong mission. Nike's mission statement is to expand human potential. And of course, their slogan is just do it, which lines up perfectly with their mission and their product. How can you do that for your brand? I just mentioned, ours is own your power, don't rent your power. Also, Pink Energy, proud sponsor of Planet Earth, right? They all align. They have memorable looks too, like Nike, Instagram, Starbucks. Even as I say them, you're picturing their logos in your head. That is what your goal is. When you think of something, you want to think of their logo. You want it to stand out and be memorable. You want it to be tangible and tied to something. So it's like, okay, I understand and I recognize it no matter what it is. In short, your mission is your brand. Figure out what your mission looks like and build your logo and brand around that. Let me say that again. Figure out what your mission looks like and build your logo and brand around that. That would be my goal for you. On a personal note, daughter's getting ready to go to Bama, my 18-year-old. Sad and exciting at the same time. But, I'm going to go through it, continue to dig. We're going to continue to build this movement, one panel, one customer, one employee, one pink life at a time. That's what it's about. So make sure you continue to focus on what you're doing. Stay positive, stay hungry, stay motivated, stay inspired. Don't let people hold you down. Don't let people bring you down. Don't let people shake off your dreams. Set your expectations realistically. You got to take the stairs. There's no elevator. I talk about it in my book, right? You want to do one step at a time. 1% better every day is a lot better in a year. You got to focus on that. Don't look at the giant goals because you'll get discouraged. Make sure that you make your decisions and you stick with them. Scared money don't make money means you got to invest and bet on yourself. You can't sit here and just rely on everybody else to do that. Now, if you want to make sure you want to follow us, you can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Chrome. We appreciate you, True Underdog. Bam!
And that concludes another episode here on True Underdog. If you're interested in hearing more, make sure you subscribe at iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the YouTube channel. You can always visit TrueUnderdog.com, subscribe to all of them. Make sure you check out our newest episodes coming out on Mondays and Thursdays. True Underdog, baby. Bam!